For many, s1mple is undoubtedly the GOAT of Counter-Strike. He has so many trophies and achievements that you have to scroll on his HLTV page just to view them all, and has performed at the absolute top level for almost 10 years now. He is a total superstar, but following the release of CS2, he has barely been seen. So today, we are going to look back on his s1mple Major and see just how much of that superstar remains on the server. Love him or hate him, s1mple remains the biggest name in all of Counter-Strike history. His involvement in a tournament draws in hundreds of thousands of spectators, and any content related to him becomes 10 times more popular in an instant. People want to see him fail, and people are desperate for him to succeed. He's arguably one of the biggest players in the entirety of esports, up there with the true elites like Faker from League of Legends. He has inspired a whole generation of players. Being from Ukraine himself, Ukraine has now some of the best AWP talent in the entire world, despite only having a handful of top-tier riflers. s1mple has also been involved in many controversies over the years, but has always found a way to bounce back. You'll struggle to find many with more of a fascinating story than s1mple, be it his flashy plays at the highest level in the biggest moments when all of the pressure is on him, his stint on Team Liquid at just 18 years of age, leaving his friends and family behind to cross the world and play in English, or later turning down an offer to join SK whilst his teammate Flamey was waiting to board a plane at the airport. Despite all of this, it seemed that his relevancy might slowly fade away, due to him struggling to find a team after his playing break. But in a move that shocked the entire CS world, on April Fool's Day 2025, it was announced that s1mple will be joining BC Game, an organisation that most have never even heard of. In fact, it was almost exactly a year ago to this very day that his ex-coach Blade would suggest to s1mple that he grinds his way back through Tier 3 to become sharp for the Major at the end of that year. Now this really does look like an absurd lineup on paper, which wasn't really showing any promise before this signing, having a sub 40% win rate and being outside of the top 60 in VRS. But there is some hope. On his own announcement tweet, s1mple did say, "I just want to play. BC Game give me that chance, and they're serious about building a top tier team. Let's see what moves we make and how I can impact things." Which does suggest that there have been promises made in order to convince him to join. This is a very curious situation to keep an eye on. And there have been rumours that BC Game are looking to buy a tier 1 core to obtain the VRS points, so maybe we'll see him back in tier 1 lands sooner than we think. Will this absurd risk pay off? But first, I'd like to announce today's sponsor, Skin Club. Myself and Gamerlegion have decided to partner up with Skin Club because they are one of the only fair CS2 case opening platforms, offering hundreds of cases and a ton of unique features. Please keep in mind that you can only play if you are 18 and older. Skin Club uses a provably fair system, meaning every drop is 100% verifiable and cannot be manipulated. This means that everybody is on a level playing field. You'll get daily free cases, giveaways, battle modes, and even community built cases, where you can design your own case with any skins you want. Create as many as you like and share them with others. When you win something you like, you'll really appreciate their instant withdrawal system. And if you don't get anything great, you can still try upgrading it. It's super easy to deposit, tons of payment options, and if you click my link in the description, you'll get a 7% bonus on your first deposit. So if you are over 18, check out Skin Club by clicking the link in the description. So was it really his only choice? Why has no tier 1 team taken chance on such a blockbuster player? Well, firstly, there's the cost. s1mple at any moment can turn his stream on and instantly achieve over 50,000 concurrent viewers. And this makes him valuable to any organisation when it comes to selling sponsors. He is easy to sell. One of the biggest media profiles in all of gaming will of course draw on many opportunities to create revenue. And this alone means that Na'Vi would have asked for a high asking price even if he was sat on their bench. He's been the best for so long that he would still be one of the highest paid players in the world also, so getting him out of Na'Vi could have cost millions, which took many organisations out of the conversation in an instant with how the current ecosystem is. There was also the very valid concern about what level s1mple is even at. He's barely played CS at all, and he's famed for being a player grinding the game at all moments to now being someone who has criticised the game in public often, saying that the game isn't ready or fun to play. Prior to this major, he's only played 16 HLTV officials in the last 19 months, and we are talking about a transfer cost potentially in the millions for a player who's only shown a 1.04 rating in those games. His form had understandably dipped since the war, and even towards the end of CSGO there was a downward trajectory, posting his career worst numbers in 2023 outside of his debut year back when he bounced around different teams. s1mple is also one of the biggest personalities out there. His personality is legendary in esports. He's someone who expects the best from his teammates at all times regardless of circumstances. This shows an incredible hunger to win, but also a lack of empathy at times which can drag others down. This then means that a lot of coaches wouldn't want to take someone who could potentially ruin the confidence of their brightest upcoming talents, as not everyone can cope with such direct feedback under such stressful circumstances. These factors would have played a huge part in s1mple remaining on the Na'Vi bench for such a long time, but As a first sign of his potential comeback, on the 5th of May 2025, it was announced that s1mple will be standing in for FaZe Clan during the s1mple Major. For the remainder of this video, I'm going to take a deep dive through his performances on the last Major to find out if s1mple really has what it takes to return to full form. So how good is he after such a long break, and what is his potential? FaZe's decision to pick him as a stand-in has been an undeniable success, with FaZe being picked by many to make the Major final after the playoff draws were made. Unfortunately, they would be eliminated by the ever-impressive Mongols. But with such little practice time, and Ray missing vital practice and tournament days with the birth of his second child, most expected FaZe to be unimpressive at the Major, and in the end, being left disappointed to not make a Major final is evidence of just how well that they did here. I believe FaZe might have been the perfect chance for him to show just how good he still is, as they are a mature team with a bucket load of experience, which allows them not to get fazed by direct criticism, and actually keep up with the expectations that s1mple will have of them. As far as the numbers go, it's far from prime s1mple, as you'll probably expect, but a big increase on his first 16 maps in CS2, which we mentioned earlier, posting a respectable 1.12 rating across 15 maps. CS2 is really about having those fast starts, and s1mple's pistol ratings were way down compared to his career numbers, posting a pretty average 1.06 rating compared to his all-time 1.21. It's a common trend that you'll see in games. Players get off to a great start and go on to have very strong maps, and FaZe only managed to win 50% of their pistols at this event. He ended the s1mple Major as the 7th highest rated AWPer, but on the CT sides he had a very impressive 1.22 rating and being the 4th highest rated AWPer of all. When FaZe won, he was on fire, averaging a 1.45 rating whenever they won a map, and so when they lost, it dropped massively to 0.81. So with momentum, it seems like he was right up there at his best, and when the team struggled, he was right down there near the bottom for FaZe. Understandably, the map pool was pretty terrible for this event, where on Dust 2, Nuke, Mirage and Inferno, they won only one map combined. Personally, I think it's really hard to judge s1mple's performance for precisely this reason. Are FaZe even that great right now, or were they just good enough to squeeze through when they really needed it? That's maybe a question for another day, the point being that inconsistency showed itself in inconsistent conditions, and I believe that this is a factor that has to be mentioned. Okay, well, we don't care about the numbers. What did he look like in-game? There were so many glimpses of s1mple that we all know and love. Under heavy pressure in a 4v5 against the execute, we see s1mple quickly reposition to the pit and hit a sharp shot onto the first player, before making the true playmaker play of running at the attackers rather than play from the safety of the pit. He comes within a few millimeters of making an outrageous highlight play, but his 2k did enough to win the round ultimately. Most AWPers here would stay on the balcony for the first kill, fall away, and then go back into that pit position. But s1mple has that superstar mentality to get the better position earlier and then make that extra play, rather than hoping that 3D Max misplay the situation. Another great moment is a B after plant on Ancient, where s1mple makes a crucial 3k 1 vs 2 clutch. What I really love here is seeing just how precise and accurate that he is, the tracing on the first player, and the sheer speed of execution on the second and third. They really had no chance to kill him, even though they knew exactly where he was. I also found it noteworthy that it was 0-2 when this moment happened, the mark of a top player to pull off something so good when not having a great start. Rounds were never over whilst he was still alive. I saw so many times where FaZe seemingly had no chance, only for s1mple to pull off a clean, quick 2 or 3k to win them or simply ruin the economy and hand out a warning to their opponents. The mechanics were pretty clean. A quick scope on the first player, the awareness to check and wide swing the flanking CT, and then the pure speed to kill the AWPer holding him. In the playoff game, it did become difficult to find these highlight frags. On Mirage, one of the only multi-kills that he posted was on the first round of the game, and like I said earlier, usually these pistol rounds are catalysts to really take over, but it didn't come. He even tweeted afterwards that he couldn't really get a feel of the game, and this does happen sometimes. Things just feel off. Your game doesn't feel smooth, your decisions feel slow, or you just don't get much luck. There were the odd moments too where he just missed some shots that you'd never expect him to. Like the last round of the game where he overflicks the first shot and then rushes a no-scope on a player that somehow had no idea of his existence and ended up going on to make a game-winning 3k. s1mple knows he is the best player of all time, and he knows the expectation that both he and his fans have on him. This is a quite ridiculous level of pressure on a player who doesn't really have enough match practice in him. It really felt like on the Major he hit so many shots that most AWPers would miss, and though he didn't play up to his best, I think he showed plenty to suggest that a comeback to his true form might not be too far away. Hopefully BC Game are able to build the roster to help s1mple have a platform to show himself back at the highest level. I fear that without this, he might be stuck playing online CS with a lineup that isn't really showing the potential of earning those top tier VRS invites. For someone with such insane ambitions, I cannot see s1mple being satisfied with very slow progression and mediocre results. Either way, this will be another fascinating chapter in an already spectacular story. Do you think this move will work out? Let me know in the comments below. As always, please like and subscribe. See you next time.